at first when we started, I didn't feel that strongly about him, but now I really, really do not like Brad taste in music, and I have an update on him. He uh
Oh boy.
he basically after all of this, I teased last time that he had this fight with a friend, uh, Rose Malay or whatever, and I was potentially going to make a segment out of that, but then more came out, and honestly, Rose Malay is kind of a crazy weirdo person anyway, and the real part that was entertaining about that story was just that on Twitter, Brad said Rose Malay made a good video. People said Rose Malay has bad opinions. Brad, you need to disown her, and you know right up until then, Brad was DMing Rose Malay, "Oh, we're friends. I'm on your side the whole way." And then people get mad and he throws her under the bus and says, "I had no idea she was such a terrible person," and all this stuff. Um, but yeah, H3 kind of recaps his experience with Brad and then he brings him on for a chat. And I cut it up, but we got all the good parts here as far as I'm concerned.
Nice guy. Said he was a big fan and he was super happy to be there and meet me and meet everybody. And I thought, okay, nice. Well, nice meeting you. You know, Hila actually she said she spent the most time talking to him and his girlfriend. I think it was.
So you're talking about like a VIP meet and greet that they had after some event, and Brad Taste got tickets to that, and he was visiting with Ethan and his wife and the crew from the show and
His
stuff.
girlfriend, because he's Israeli, or he has family in Israel, who were killed by Hamas during October 7th, and they were talking about that situation, and obviously they have a lot in common because of that, and they were pretty much agreeing about everything they were talking about at the time. He seems to be, by all accounts, like a.
So, I mean, that seems like a pretty significant bond. Obviously you're just meeting
Yeah.
somebody for the first time or whatever, but like, you both have family in Israel and you connect over this conflict or whatever that affects you guys personally more than pretty much everybody else that's around you.
Yeah, you'd think, for sure. Definitely a
A
good bonding
regular
opportunity.
Yeah. At least more than just a casual meet and greet at the very least.
viewer of the podcast too, so he knows, he understands.
He's a regular super chatter.
Yeah. So Brad is a regular viewer and super chatter of the H3 podcast as well. On top of, I didn't know this beforehand, but he's a fan of the show to the point where he's watching and super chatting and stuff.
He would send super chats all the time.
So he understands the culture of the show and who I am and who Hila is and all this stuff. So I'm like, well, that's fucking lame. Like, we gave you backstage access. We spend like a considerable amount of time like connecting and talking with you, and then you use it to go online and fucking like throw me to the wolves. Like, I was offended. I was like, dude, what the fuck, man? That's so lame. Like, why did you even come?
Seriously, like Ethan is just explaining straight up what happened, but for some reason it was really funny to me because it's just like, seriously, why did you fucking come, Brad? You have no spine. You come to this event and all it takes is people saying, I don't know about that, Brad, and you throw them under the bus. It's
Like
insane.
he definitely likes the show and definitely likes the people, but since people want people to like him so much, he wants to make sure that he looks good and can condone anything that can make him possibly look like not a good person, according to random people on the internet.
Yeah, there's no question about it. He liked the show and then bonded with Ethan and Hila, more so Hila, and then threw them under the bus because he thought that would be better for his career.
You know, what a lame fucking. It upset me. It was upsetting. Suck my dick, bro. Stay the fuck home. Like, oh my god, dude. Also, like, what's really lame is he's just propping up this absolute psychotic moral panic about me being essentially Israeli, being you know, my wife being Israeli, that somehow is, you know, inherently a bad thing. Being born somewhere, I thought racism was the worst thing you could be, but apparently hating someone for being born somewhere is vibes all of a sudden.
Yeah, what the heck, Brad?
I feel like, and I think that what happened is, so like, I posted a picture with Ethan Klein, Hila Klein, and then people were like replying with pictures of JPEG Mafia and Kanye West.
JPEG Mafia is a rapper. He collaborated with Kanye. JPEG Mafia at one point was pretty outwardly spoken about being
I see.
anti-Nazi and like anti-white supremacist and everything. And then people were like,
So
"What
they're
the fuck,
saying I'm
dude?"
a Nazi.
Basically,
And
yeah.
he's cool being friends with Nazis.
That is
Again,
the implication there. Yes.
please understand that
Yeah, like that's how that came across to me too. It's just like it's I don't know. People are just wild. I don't understand how you're. And first of all, it's just I don't know. I can understand a little bit if you're upset with Kanye or whatever because he's said some more wild. But JPEG Mafia just like produced for him. I just don't understand how you care that much. I don't get it.
that when people say stuff like that, they are bigots. I really want people to understand just how fucking gross and bigoted that position is.
Sucks. I thought it was funny, but it sucked. And then there were people like, Bradley, please don't just ignore this. And people in the community, Brad, this is bigger than this. You need to not ignore this. You need to address this. You need to not ignore this. People in my audience, I address it. Spineless, pussy.
Yes, that's what happens if you just listen to the people on Twitter and do whatever they say, because the people who tell you what to do on Twitter are idiots. So then if you just listen to
Yeah.
them, everybody's like, why did you listen to these random idiots? Why did you just do what these random idiots told you to do?
Yeah, it seems like he can be easily manipulated. That's the vibe I get from Brad.
Yes, he's there's a Patrice O'Neill quote where he's talking about somebody else, but he says that essentially they have no spine and they become the shape of whatever container you pour them into. And that's what I think of when I think of Brad. You pour him into a rectangular Tupperware, he becomes a rectangular guy. You pour him in a cup, he becomes a cup-shaped guy. That's what Brad is.
Apologizes for taking
Chameleon.
pictures with Jews. So it went from like, Brad, you have to address this. You cannot ignore this. This is very important. Fine, I'll say something to, you should have said nothing. Why did you motherfucker? And it was just like, at that point, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I actually doing? Keemstar interview went, dude, Keemstar fucking tweeted something about it, dude. What's wrong with Ethan? Dude, I don't want to talk about this, though.
Go ahead. What's wrong with Ethan, motherfucker? Explain it. You didn't think there was enough wrong with me when you came to my show and like took advantage of our hospitality and came and spent the whole night with us, yucking it up. And the part that people don't know that I thought was especially spineless and lame is that him and Hila were talking shop about, you know, Israel and talking about the war and everything all night. And then he comes home and he's like, oh, they have dangerous opinions. It's like, bro, just believe in something, man.
It's like, it wasn't supposed to be a big deal. And what I ended up doing is I ended up selling Ethan and Hila Klein down the river. Just like I wanted to meet them. And it's like I sold them down the river. And then they got upset. And so the entire internet, both sides were upset at me. And then Ethan and Hila were upset at me.
Yeah, no shit.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? What are you saying fuck me for, huh?
What? Because you...
I just get such a kick out of how over it Ethan is. Like a lot of the times, the bigger YouTubers are hesitant to sort of reply or go in on these smaller ones because it looks like punching down and stuff. But I think that's bullshit. If I criticize any of these other people that like if D-Sigs gets pissed and he makes a video about us or whatever, that would make sense. All I do is talk shit about the guy. Oh, it makes sense that they would respond to that.
Exactly. I think it's a fair game. It's what's the saying? It's a tit for tat, 100%.
What do you mean fuck me for? Because you came to my show, took care of my hospitality, and then called me a fucking like a Nazi. He just says whatever he thinks people want to hear, which is a terrible way to conduct yourself. Especially
seem that way.
It frustrates me a little bit though that he doesn't understand why I'm upset. He says I'm not replying because I like Ethan.
That's the wild part. He doesn't understand why Ethan's upset. And then this is just funny. Ethan's reading a tweet by Nicholas Dorio, who's another drama guy, but Brad is under the impression that Ethan and Nick are like friends or whatever. So he's like, he says something along those lines.
No affiliation with Ethan Klein. I've never once spoken to Ethan Klein in my life. I'm replying because you're a pussy. Oh, talk to me.
Yeah, so then Brad comes on for a chat with H3 after all of this, and look at the level of eye contact that Brad makes throughout this whole call. It is very, very minimal.
All right. First of all, it's good to talk with you, Ethan. Sorry about everything that's been going on. I am currently on an internet break. I deleted Twitter off my phone, logged off everything. I've just been, honestly, what ended up happening.
He's just staring down the whole time. He's not making any effort to look into the camera at all. He's fully ashamed.
He should be.
happening is I ended up posting that photo, and I was it kind of taught me a lesson very quickly about the fact that I don't really have the like you're saying, like I need to work on core values and just like knowing what I believe in. And the problem is like I wasn't doing that shit, and so as soon as this hits and I'm just like, I can ignore everything in the world, it's like I handle it like an absolute entitled jerk. Yeah, I was not prepared for this, but it also ended up being really good. Like, this is the first time I've like taken a break from the internet. I'm quitting nicotine as well.
Why does he keep doing this? He keeps making it out like nicotine and weed are these massive things. Like, dude, stop blaming your problems on this. It comes across as so weak and pathetic. Just say, just own up to your own things. You know, you don't need to give any excuses. Just say you're going to do better and then do better. Like, nobody wants to
Yeah.
hear you have all of these little opinions and stuff because you don't stand by any of it. Just do actions. That's what we need from you now.
Yeah. I was just about to say actions speak a lot harder than words, and he does not seem to understand that.
Just sort of taking care of myself and also learning about shit around the world. I've been enjoying the podcast, been enjoying the stories and whatnot. Am I just talking?
So that whole time he's just like looking down, rambling for almost a minute, and then he's like, "Wait a second, can they hear me?" And it's because like he's just dissociated, basically, just rambling about what a terrible, dumb person he is. And then he's like, "Oh wait, am I on a video call? Is this live?"
Oh shit. Oh man.
I'm listening.
Better pay
Okay,
attention.
cool, sweet. Yeah.
You are talking.
But no, we connected really well, like at the meetup. And again, I think Hila made me almost cry, but I was scared. I behaved out of being scared that I didn't know what I was doing.
And these are people on Twitter that he's scared of. It's not actually people with pitchforks or whatever. People make those jokes, but it's just people on Twitter and YouTube comments and stuff. But he was scared.
And yes, you're right. I didn't know what I was doing. I listened to my audience because I didn't really even know what I believed in. So I just did whatever, just said and tried to do whatever to just make it so I didn't have to feel the pain of the situation of.
Again, I cannot believe the stuff that this guy admits, dude. It's wild. It's so wild to me that you would put this out there. Shut up.
I'm just gonna listen to random people on the internet for all my life advice. That's such a terrible way to have a terrible outlook, I should say.
Yeah, and he said he didn't have any actual beliefs. You know, as soon as what the things that he said were challenged, he realized, oh, I don't actually know why I think any of the things I think.
Yeah, that's something else, man.
Maybe I did something wrong, you know? And it's just been like trying to extinguish that. And, you know, like if anyone should know it, when you start fighting things like these, they kill you. They take away who you are, and it's terrible. So, you know, again, I'm sorry.
Still, he cannot make eye contact. Every time he does, it's for a fraction of a second or whatever. And he's not doing anything, you know, like I'm not looking at the camera all the time because I got to watch what I'm doing or whatever over here. But I still try to make an effort to look into the camera when I'm not doing other stuff because I'm trying to engage with the people who are watching. He's just the whole time looking down. I don't know. I guess I'm just a terrible person and I hate myself and everybody should hate me and bro, like literally grow a spine, sit up, enunciate, make eye contact. What are you doing? Just nothing about this is a guy that you could get behind. It's like the opposite of a leader in every way. And not that everybody has to be a leader, but you should. I mean, you should strive to have some leadership qualities. You know.
Exactly. For sure.
Betrayed
he
the
doesn't seem to
family,
have
as I'll say, by not standing up for what I actually believe, and for honestly, like everyone's saying, being very cowardice. So,
which is what? What is it that you do believe?
Well, that's the thing, is I don't want to just make some big statement right now. I want to actually learn. You know, like it's no longer about what do I believe. It's like what do I want to learn about? Because I have not been doing that, and as a result, a lot of the information I have is just simply wrong. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay. You had mentioned at one point, first of all, I appreciate the apology and the explanation. Obviously, I sympathize. Someone who's been on the internet for a while, I've been through these whole all these experiences and such, and I know how it is. What did you mean when you said that I have? You had mentioned that I have.
Yeah, dangerous. I said that you.
It was driving me. He does it a lot more, but he keeps pulling at this hair and twisting it. It's such a nervous tick. It's crazy, and he's you can see even now he's like pulling the skin up off of his skull a little bit there. That's how hard he's pulling on his hair. He's so nervous.
He for sure is.
Said things that are dangerous. I'll be honest. This is what I've heard from people who I've trusted, and instead of doing my own research and actually coming up with my own opinion on what you said, I just parroted what they said.
Right.
Like, I should have actually looked at what you said and saw if it actually upset me.
Well,
if
people,
it didn't,
yeah.
this would have changed.
It sucks because people have been running with that ever since October 7th. And to this day, nobody's really pulling up any examples. They just say that I'm a Zionist, that I hate Gaza, or that I hate Palestinians, and that I'm a Nazi. And people just take that for granted. And I still have not been able to see anybody pull up a single thing that supports that claim, because frankly, it has never happened.
Well, honestly, I'm just proud that you're still fighting through that and like trying to do the right thing, because I know that shit's killing you. And the fact that, like, you know, it is a different circumstance.
And I don't know if you could see that there. He had another substance, a 5-hour energy in his hand there. He's got to be on something. He can't just be sober.
Stands for you. It is hard, and you still are trying to have good values. I respect that, and it's the thing I wish I would have actually said. I wish I would have actually said Ethan Klein has strong values. He's trying his best. He fucks up like the rest of us. I wish if I could have changed it, that is what I would have said.
Why would you say that?
So just like a complete 180 from what he actually said. It's like, I mean, it's good that she came around to the right opinion, but it sounds so ridiculous when you say, I wish I would have done literally exactly the opposite of what I did. It's like, all right, well, you better have some good justification for why you 100% went against your values. Also, remember, this guy's a critic. We're supposed to listen to his critical opinions on things. And he said he doesn't want to take any harsh stances. He needs to figure out what he needs to learn about first before he can even figure out what he wants to have opinions on. But he's a music critic.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I didn't fuck up.
Right. What did I say? Did I say you fucked up? You fucked up?
We're still hedging our claims, man. I'm not perfect, I know, but I didn't do anything wrong. All right, maybe I'm being too critical here. We forgive.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a good point. You know, I'm trying to do some good. But that's the thing is, I think it's about intention here. I think we're all trying to be good people and figure shit out. So, you know.
That's true. I mean, the vast majority of people are all trying to do the right thing and be good people. The vast majority of people. So.
Oh yeah, no, it is, and it's hard to learn that too, because it can always feel like for me especially, it was feeling like everyone was coming at me, and you know, I was like sure that I was doing the right thing, and it was just like because I was so certain that the people who actually knocked me off that pedestal.
Stop pulling on your skin. It's so distracting. It's so distracting, and maybe it's just me like that. Probably part of it is like that sort of stuff drives me nuts when people do that, but he does it. It's so aggressive the way that he does it. He's literally pulling the skin away from his skull and stuff.
I think I even can. I'm trying right now. It doesn't really work for me. It hurts.
Well, you got to practice. You need to have this nervous tick for years and years to be able to do it at the expert level that he does.
I got to loosen it up a little bit, I guess.
Do some stretches.
I'm learning that the actual amount of pain that comes from being wrong for me is so great. And it needs to be addressed, and it's not something I could just like shrug off and say, no, like I need a break. I need a break from the internet. I am looking at a screen too much. And so like even now, I have the stream turned off. I'm just talking with you.
Chat's off. You're safe.
I'm safe either way. That's the thing, is because I feel in my heart that I am moving on the right path.
Good.
Which is good. And again, the crew, you're wonderful. The show was amazing. I enjoyed it. I honestly just panicked because
he is just completely folding, bending the knee to H3, kissing the ring. I'm so sorry, sire. I'm so sorry. Please, let me clean your feet for you, sire. Like, what the fuck, man?
So easily manipulated. It's unreal.
Yeah.
No
all
opinions
he
of his
does is
own.
react to people telling him he's wrong. That's all. It's just like a pinball. And every time one of the things goes, nope, you're wrong. Nope, you're wrong. Nope, you're wrong. And then he just bounces around until they hit him again and tell him he's wrong.
I saw a lot of people were hating on me, and again, some for good reasons, like the fact that I'm answering and have absolutely no response, and some for bad reasons, like people who were like me, who did no research and just picked up a narrative, and like instead of actually checking and figuring it out for themselves. I feel like people are just sort of repeating what other people hear and are very afraid. And again, like I know you guys are just, I mean, whatever I'm dealing with, Ethan, I know I've learned what you deal with as like someone who's dealt with now a fraction of what you deal with, and I cannot imagine being in that seat, having that many people watching your every move. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, Brad, you had a taste, just a sample of the stuff that H3's gone through, and you completely buckled and folded and denounced all of your morals and values and said you have to do research before you can have opinions on things again. Just
He should have
shattered,
always
shattered. He has like what,
should have
500,000 subs?
Yeah, that's a lot of subs for someone who just seems to be a guy who, like you said earlier, just kind of fits into whatever container people present him to. Like it just seems like he can't really have his own opinions. He has to please people. He seems like a people pleaser kind of person.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, I know what you're going through. It sucks when it feels like everybody's mad. That's the worst feeling. So you'll be fine.
But it's also irrational too. Like not everybody's mad,
Yeah, most
like
people,
I had a lot of people who weren't mad, who were just like, Brad, what is happening? You okay?
Right.
And I took that as them being mad.
Right.
What were you saying?
No, you're right. You're right also. But at any rate, breaks are good. Get yourself together. We still love. We want Brad's taste. We want Brad to continue to taste. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, keep tasting.
And I will. And I want you to continue doing your shows. Yeah, you're a very creative mind. I will be watching. And you know that we're rooting for you.
I can't lose another subscriber, man.
It's just imagine doing what he did and then sucking up this hard, dude. It's so embarrassing. He's just slobbering all over H3 after completely throwing him under the bus. Just 180, 180, 180. It's disgusting to watch.
Yeah, it really was. Like I said, he's just trying to make people like him. And when he realizes that when people were wrong about what he said or whatever you want to think, but just changing his opinion completely because he realized that he made other people mad and you had more people mad at him then, that he flipped his opinion. So it just seems like he's one of those people who just can't say what he actually thinks.
H3 nailed it earlier. He just said, come on, man, just believe something.
Yeah.
Something. Just pick one thing and believe in it.
I know.
We gotta mend this bridge. It's
You
just
gotta get
too
those
much.
numbers back in the green.
That's right.
Absolutely,
That's
yeah.
right.
We're far way away, but every single one counts. All right, Brad, keep tasting, okay?
Thank you. I'm gonna go back to laying on the couch. Peace.
Good for you. Enjoy.
And
I
then
spent
he said,
a
"I'm gonna go
fair
back
bit
to
of time talking.
I'm gonna go back to laying on the couch." Like, you don't have to say that. You don't have to say, "I'm gonna go back to being a sad sack, depressed on the couch." You can just say, "Oh, I appreciate you chatting with me," or something like that. But he's just, dude, he's a bum. He's a bum. I just can't believe what a loser he is. And going back on everything or whatever, like, he got to more or less the right opinion. So I'll give him credit for that. And this part, I don't know how true this part is. Take this with a grain of salt, but there's just a couple funny messages. Um, I know I only left for a few days, but I'm happy to be back now that there's no association with B asterisk ad. I would love to be more active in this community from now on. So they're censoring his name in his own Discord. They won't say it anymore. They're so ashamed of him and embarrassed of him. And then this part definitely take it with a grain of salt. I don't know enough to know how true this is or whatever, but it just was funny to me. But they basically took over the mods of Brad's Discord, took it over and claimed it as their own. And they changed the name from whatever Brad called it to Oxcord. And so they're saying, why is the server called Oxcord? What's going on? Following Brad's appearance on the H3H3 podcast, we as staff are no longer comfortable associating with Brad. This server is being rebranded into Oxcord, a server about music, our love of music, and other types of chat. If you were part of this server before, it will retain the same type of feel as before, but will not be connected with Brad. More details about the controversies are below the image. And they just say it's in transitory or whatever. But I mean, I don't know how true that is. I didn't really look into it because I don't care that much. Just the idea alone is funny that they're taking his Discord from him and censoring his name. And yeah.
what happens when you can't have any opinions and stand on them. People don't want to associate with people like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because you can't trust that person at all. You know, if H3, he probably thought. I mean, it doesn't seem like he was all that familiar with Brad before this, honestly. But you know, he would have assumed that Brad's a fan because he watches the show and he super chats and stuff. And then that's the shit that he pulls. I don't know. I'm
Seems
very
like
curious how Brad handles this. I want to see like what his comeback looks like and stuff like that. I'm very, very curious to see how he handles it from here on out.
it'd be very interesting to say the least. Hopefully, he actually does do some research and figure out what he actually believes. I think that'd be a good thing for the guy.
Yeah, yeah, and just do your music reviews, man. Like, stop getting involved with all the politics and stuff. Like, you clearly can't handle it. You straight up, you just can't handle it. And besides that, you've made it clear that we shouldn't even really respect your opinion on the music or anything. But you know, definitely not politics or whatever. Just do your
Yeah,
Anthony Fantano impression or whatever, and stick to that.
I agree. It just seems like he's trying to do too much and get himself tied up into stuff and then